Hey, what's going on? So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to successfully get A2P verified on the first go around on GoHighLevel, utilizing Claude Code to actually help build out your opt-in page so you don't have to waste time going back and forth with all the A2P rejections, because we all know that can be a massive hassle. So first off, within GoHighLevel, obviously you're going to start out by going to settings, phone systems. You need to have a phone number purchased. As you can see on my account, I'm already A2P verified, so I'm going to be setting up a fresh brand, fresh campaign to start from scratch with you guys. But once your phone number is purchased, it'll say, it should have a red pop-up here that says you're not A2P and client. Start now. You can also click on Trust Center. The first thing you have to set up is the brand status, which usually gets approved pretty quickly. It's the campaign status that's always a big bottleneck for people and usually face a lot of rejections on. So for the brand status settings, that part's pretty straightforward. You just put your business information in, EIN number, address, and all that stuff. But specifically, the bottleneck at hand is going to be your campaign objective. So we're going to create a new campaign. So when you're first building out your campaign after you've already done your brand submission, and again, the brand submissions should get through immediately. One thing I will note though is you're going to need a website domain to set this up. There's two ways you can go about this. The first way is if you have a private server, a VPS, where you have like a lot of your websites already living in the cloud and you have Claude on deck to push stuff to your subdomain, then Claude can literally just build it out and port it instantly on the web. That's how I do it. It allows you to not have to go through the hassle of the process of pulling the custom code into GoHighLevel just for the subdomain to live in here. I'm going to show you guys how to do the latter today, and nonetheless, both will still apply. So assuming you have your subdomain or domain set up, that's going to be step one. If you don't know how to do that, again, just talk to Claude or even talk to OpenAI. It's super easy to set up a subdomain, guys. Or if you go to domains and URL redirects, this is also where you can add a new funnel, in which case we'll throw the actual opt-in page in here. Now, the opt-in page is going to be the main point of actually getting you A2P verified each time. So now we're going to click Create Campaign, and I'm just going to show you all the steps from scratch. So first off is going to be your business information. Most people watching this are probably going to be in the US, so enter your information here. I'm blurring all this out, but your business type, your EIN number, your business industry, your legal name, and your business email as well. All this needs to be thrown in there, or if you're doing this on behalf of one of your clients, you obviously have to put their information in there. So when we're onboarding any new client, we have a full client intake form with all the information we need in order to facilitate A2P verification and setting up some of the other stuff, like when we do AI appointments that are built for them. Anyways, once the information is thrown in there, you click continue. And obviously on this page is where your business applicable address goes. And for authorized representative, it's going to be the CEO or just someone in the company. It's usually going to be the founder though. So you're going to put their name, last name, email, and you're going to put their personal phone number because they're going to get a text message confirming that the A2P has been submitted. I've seen it both ways. Sometimes it asks you to confirm, hey, you submitted this, right? Reply back Y to confirm. Other times, they don't get any messages, so just in case, make sure to put a valid phone number here. Now, getting over to the brand use case, you're going to know best what type you need. Most people are going to be able to get away with 6,000 segments per day, meaning 6,000 new messages started, new segments started per day. However, if you're planning on doing a massive blast, massive marketing efforts, then you're going to have to do high volume. Note that high volume is, of course, going to be a little bit more strict. So at the end of the day, you have to realize that GoHighLevel phone numbers are literally just white-labeled Twilio phone numbers. So GoHighLevel is taking a little bit off the top, unfortunately, for the message data rates. But the reason they're so strict is because anyone can get a phone number. And on Twilio, anyone can make an account. So they're very strict with the A2P verification process to essentially limit bad actors and make sure there's only valid, established businesses using their platform. So all that to say, most people can get away with low volume. I recommend that. Now, over on registration flow, this part's going to be very important, guys. So choose your registration flow. We're going to go with quick setup. It's going to be the most straightforward way to actually get verified, specifically using Claude to help build out our sales funnel. So we're going to click continue on this. Now this is kind of self-explanatory because it's showing which use case to go with. If you're unsure, I honestly recommend you do mixed because it'll be the most versatile. So maybe today, if you're only doing transactional and non-marketing appointment reminders, maybe in the future you want to do a database reactivation campaign or trying to market on some old leads. So I highly recommend just getting a mixed, even if you don't have the full use cases for it today, just so you're more well-rounded and protected in the future if you did want to move every which way with your particular phone number. So we're going to do mixed, then we're going to click continue. Now, so this is where I was getting at, where you need your subdomain or just your base domain set up. So what you need to do is add it here. So if you have a virtual server or your website is hosted somewhere, then you can just throw it in here. However, if your website lives within GoHighLevel, then you're going to go ahead and throw your derivative number here. Now, before we move any further, we're actually going to pause on this entire application process and get into Claude Code and start building out the funnel, because specifically in order for us to import the funnel code into GoHighLevel, we're going to need the specific / in mind for the website URL. For instance, on this example, we can do scaleagents.io/optin, in which case that will be the specific URL that we submit so that when it goes under the review process, it'll show this particular funnel in mind. And the whole benefit of choosing this way instead of the manual is because this is going to be your opt-in compliance. As you can see, all you have to do is add this specific code into your funnel, in which case it'll have this as your compliance piece. It's saying Indonesia because I'm in Bali right now, but don't mind that. Anyway, so we're going to click copy code, and you're going to go over to Claude Code now. And we're going to say, I am submitting A2P verification for my company. And then what you're going to do is enter business information. Guys, I want you to be as detailed as possible on all the information as it relates to your business model so that everything is congruent and it aligns. The cool thing about Claude is you can even feed it your current funnel. For instance, I can say web scrape my website so you know all the information about my business. Web scrape my website so you know all the info about my business. /scale agents.io and create me a opt-in page that will be A2P compliant. So I have a subdomain already set up, so I'm going to have it go off of one of my subdomains. Okay, so I just said this. I said use a opt-in /. I already have a web.scaleagents.io subdomain set up. In which case we do a lot of our initial build outs there for client funnels. We kind of test them there before we migrate them over to their own domains. Anyways, before we migrate them over to their own domains, notice I also just put this is for YouTube example, by the way, just because Claude is already extremely indelved in everything, so it's going to be like, what the hell are we doing? We've been A2P verified for a minute now. So now we're going to wait for this to load. It's going to throw it up on the subdomain. So I'm going to show you the first way, if you already have a server, it popping over to the subdomain. And this is the easier way long term, especially if you're an agency and you're looking to do a lot of build outs. It's going to be a hassle to have to map it to and fro GoHighLevel all the time. However, if you're an end user and you're just doing this one time, after we do this, in fact, you could even skip ahead if you want. I'll show you how to set this up directly within GoHighLevel, as in map the custom code, import into GHL so the opt-in page lives in GoHighLevel, and you'll apply that domain link that's nested within GoHighLevel over to the A2P verification process. And then one more step we're going to do to throw in there is we're going to copy this code, go back to Claude, and you can do it while it's concurrently running and just say, here is the custom chat widget code to embed within the funnel. Note, guys, when you're setting this up, especially if you set this up for the first time, see, my Claude's pretty vetted on things, but what you can't have happen is, and honestly, most Claudes will, so please watch out for this, is it will create like a text terminal, like form page directly on there alongside the chat widget. That will immediately get you unverified. On an opt-in page, in order to get it A2P verified, there can only be one segment, one like router or like modem in which you're doing data collection. So I'll sit here and specify it as well. And what I mean by one modem, in this instance, it's going to be our website chat widget. And then the rest of the page is just going to be compliance and disclosures. So we'll even put it here. Ensure the only point of data collection is the website chat. No other form. And what's nice also, as we get deeper into this, GoHighLevel even does a check for you real quick just to make sure there's only one single instance of the actual data collection form within the chat widget itself. So this will take a minute to load. So while this is loading, for those of you that want to do it directly in GoHighLevel, we can go ahead and backtrack real quick. And we're going to go into Sites. And it's so straightforward, guys. We're going to click on New Funnel and then create from scratch. We'll call this A2P YouTube example, and we're going to create that, and we're going to click Add New Step. A2P YouTube example path opt-in, and no, we don't need any of that. Create funnel step, and I'm just going to sync up one of the domains I have in here. Like I said, my Scale Agents domains live off platform now because we do so much building with Claude Code. We don't do a lot within GoHighLevel anymore just because the future is now. A lot of this is getting a little bit elementary as far as the blockiness of GoHighLevel as far as building normal stuff out. We're going to click Create Blank. We're going to open this up. And guys, this is super easy. We're literally almost done with the setup of this despite throwing in the code. Okay, so when you're within here, you're going to click, here, and I'll leave an X out so there's no confusion. You're going to click this little plus button. You're going to click Add. We're going to type in code. Now, the first thing we have to do, and this is especially important, not even for this, but just for sales funnels and websites as well when you're doing custom code embedded. So right now, on all these different borders, we have padding issues. There's padding throughout all of them. So if you throw code in here, the code's going to be in the center, the website visual is going to be in the center, and it's going to have this horrible white border around it. So we need to get rid of that. Notice there's a few different sections. There's a green one, a blue one, a purple one, and then an orange one. We're going to go from the inside out. Do not go from the outside in, otherwise it's going to be harder to tag these. So we're going to click on this one, and on styles, anywhere where there's padding, get rid of it. So orange, we're good. On purple, see, we got 5 padding here, 10 padding here. You're going to go in and close all of these out. Boom. And then hover again. Now with the blue one, zeroed, auto, nope, 0, 0. And you'll notice after you zero these out, it's going to be harder to find the smaller ones inside that we're trying to edit. So like the orange ones and purple ones, see, it's like a little harder to reach them now. So that's why you got to go inside out. Last one is the green one, of course. Let's zero all padding there. The very last step, only have to do this on the green one, over on general. Allow rows to take entire width. Boom. Notice what it just did on the blue, so it would have still been caught up in that border. If you do this, now it's blown up on the entire thing. Now later, once we actually spit out the custom HTML code, we literally just have to open code editor and paste it in there. Now quickly doubling back on the original use case where we're having this hosted on a live domain, it actually already opened it up for me in a remote browser, so check this out, guys. This is what Claude just whipped up for me on the spot. As you can see, this is just a router to open the website chat widget. This is where our compliance lies. This is why we will get A2P verified. And the rest of what you're seeing on here is just for compliance. And you'll even notice, and if your Claude doesn't do this, make sure to specify, hey, add privacy policy, hey, add terms and conditions page. And as you can see here, if I click on privacy policy, Claude had generated me the successful privacy policy, and then terms and conditions as well. Again, just making sure we're bulletproof and fully compliant. So now our messaging is unlocked here, and our modem in which we're doing our data collection right here allows us to get fully verified, and we're doing this through GoHighLevel. So this is why it's the straightforward way of doing things now, because GoHighLevel already had the bases covered as far as the opt-in piece, and this is usually where most people go wrong, is their opt-in initial forms don't have the proper messaging to a T on what it needs to be, unfortunately. It's super strict. It's to prevent bad actors on the platform or utilizing SMS messaging for malicious use cases. So cool, now that we have that set, we're going to say, cool, I actually need this embedded into my GHL account. Purge this form you created and drop the HTML code and ensure it's GHL compatible. Boom. I think I misspelled something, but now we're going to wait. It's going to purge the code. Now here's the thing about when you're copying and pasting stuff directly in terminal, sometimes the formatting is weird. So what we're actually going to do, guys, we're going to open a quick session of OpenAI, and we're going to quickly prompt it, say, please reformat this HTML code so it's properly interpretable as I copied it from a terminal session on this computer. All right, so we're just going to leave that there. We're going to go back on our Claude, and we're going to wait for it to purge. And once it purges it, all we have to do is go back into GHL. I'm going to go and open the code editor. You drop it here and click Save, sync it up to your domain, and either way now, whether it's hosted on your VPS and it's in the web like I just showed you, or whether you embed it into GoHighLevel, either way, we have the domain synced up with it now. So we submit this to our application process. Either way, it will have that embedded chat widget in there. That's the main thing GoHighLevel is looking for. And the last step, which we'll get into, will be the actually messaging of it, like use case description, sample message. Especially when you submit for the first time on a new campaign, sometimes GoHighLevel just automatically fills out those fields if it has what it needs. It's weird because in some other client sessions, though, it allows you to edit them. For whatever reason on GoHighLevel, it's never perfect one-to-one. You may even notice in your compliance section, you're forced to do a reply stop and a thanks, comma, stating the business name, whereas on other GoHighLevel accounts, you may have the autonomy to check or uncheck that. While this is loading, I'll quickly go through that. And I will have some 2 cents behind that just to give you guys some free game on setting up A2P verification. Because if you're setting this up, that means you have a fresh phone number, which means there's still some work you may have to do. This is what I mean, guys. So make SMS compliant. So if I wanted to, I could unclick this. Or this is something I always unclick. This is hideous. Thanks, business name. So on some fresh GoHighLevel accounts, especially if you're just starting out, say I've had my account for years, but fresh accounts usually don't have this. However, guys, you can go over to the need help and you can get on call with GoHighLevel Dev Team, click Start Zoom, and you can actually put in a ticket to request the removal process of this, and you just have to specify you're still going to do your own compliance in there as well. This is the main important one people are looking for. So how do you get around this and still be fully legally compliant? Within your initial SMS copy, just state the business you're in, right? Be like, hey, this is Scale Agents. Hey, this is business name. Just wanted to talk to you about things. Because when you're putting thanks at the end of it, it usually makes the initial hard-coded copy look kind of ugly, right? Next thing is going to be messaging limits. As you can see, I have a pretty broad messaging limit, and I even have autonomy to sit here and slide around however I want my messaging limits to be, right? Most fresh accounts don't have this use case. Instead, what you're typically going to see on a fresh account is a ramp-up process, especially if you're onboarding a new client and they have a like 50,000 lead list and we need to be running these people. This is going to take ages. Oftentimes, you can't rely on this ramp-up process, and the biggest pain in the ass is if you have automations that are set on a drip sequence, GoHighLevel is still going to ram all the text that go through, and they're just going to show up with like a warning triangle and say, "Ooh, undelivered, sorry." So you have to go back and play patchwork now. Again, if you get on call with GoHighLevel Dev Team, you can bypass this. You can tell them, hey, we're established business, we're following all the compliance, fresh out the gate though, can we please upgrade this? And you can do any limit. They're going to ask you, what limit do you want? So don't sit there and be like all modest, like, oh, let's do only 500. No, say 5,000. Might as well overshoot the number just so this is never a bottleneck for you as well. Again, thank me later on this. You can easily bypass both the message limits and also the messaging compliance, so you're capable of checking and unchecking stuff so that you're putting good copy out there and your text blasts aren't going to be bottlenecked just because GoHighLevel is doing this BS ramp-up process on you. All right, perfect. Check this out, guys. So our HTML code was successfully generated. So I'm going to copy this, and honestly, it may copy immediately, but just for due diligence, we're still going to throw it quickly into OpenAI just to make sure that it's looking good, and it'll spit it out for me as it needs to be. See, the nice part about this too is you can just click the copy button after, and this guarantees it's formatted successfully, so we get this right first try, so we're not wasting anyone's time. All right, perfect. So the code's been generated. We're going to click copy. All right. We're going to go back to our GoHighLevel instance, paste said code, save, and then I'm going to quickly connect a domain that I have in here. Save, and then just make sure that the opt-in path is set. So now we're going to copy this, throw this in there. Check it out, guys. Bada bing, bada boom. This is directly within GoHighLevel. Just copied that link over. We're good to go. So we're going to take that link with us, or if it's in your VPS, take it there. Whatever your domain is, grab that. We're going to go back into phone numbers. The good part is it'll save all your pre-existing info that's in here, so you don't have to worry about losing it if you jumped out of there just now to follow me along. Okay, so we're back within campaigns, so you can just click continue for quick setup. Mixed again. One thing I will say, if you lost your session progress for this particular part, the code here each time is identical. Don't feel like, oh no, I have to go back and do the whole process because I left the screen. This code is verbatim each time. The only significant thing is going to be like the location ID that's specific per GoHighLevel account, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyways, so what you're going to do is drop that domain in there, scroll down, confirm for compliance, click continue. It's going to make sure, it's like, hey, did you put that embedded chat widget in there? You need that for verification. Cool, copy code, continue, we got that. All right, and if you notice here, because we're submitting a new one and we're doing like the automatic way of doing things, it doesn't even give us the option in order to edit things. Now, sometimes if you get rejected, then it will prompt you to like be able to re-edit these if it thinks the use case description, sample message, or any of these things aren't up to par. But the benefit of GoHighLevel taking the reins on a lot of this is this should get you verified first try. Last step from there is just going to be to click all these checkboxes. This isn't an instance where, oh, does this one apply to me? No, you have to click all of them in order to review the application process. Now this next part, for whatever reason, takes a couple minutes. It's going to check to make sure your chat widget is on there. And guys, like I said throughout the middle of this video, if you have multiple opt-ins, it's not going to work. So you can't have a chat widget plus like an additional like text box, be like, hey, give us your information here as well. It's just got to be one. And so that chat widget will satisfy both of those. So we're going to wait a second. Again, it takes a couple minutes, and they should both come back green, and then you can proceed. If one of them doesn't come back green, do not submit it. You're likely going to get rejected, so there's something you have to edit there. The good part is it'll tell you what you did wrong, so you can go back and change it. Better yet, copy and paste it to Claude. Be like, hey, we messed up on this one. Let's tweak this a little bit before we submit. All right, and honestly, I'm actually glad this popped up. So this is honestly a bit of a false positive, but this at least gives us something to look at because these are automatic checkers that happen each time. So even if it is the event of a false positive, you still kind of want to mitigate that. What I'm willing to bet is it saw this, it said open chat to get started. So we're actually just going to drop this error to Claude and tell it, hey, we kind of messed up on our compliance review. We need to update this accordingly. All right, so what I did, I said, hey, just looks like the multi opt-in failed, may have been a false positive. Let's ensure only 1 point of opt-in, which we already did, but get rid of the button CTA, and then I just copy and pasted the actual flag at hand. All right, so we're gonna have it update here. For the sake of efficiency, honestly, I'm just gonna have it upload to my VPS. And again, it just saves you a couple of extra steps because you don't have to purge the code. But just know that if you were doing a revision, you would just tell Claude to repurge the code, go back into OpenAI, have it spit you out the correct code, go back in your form, paste it, publish, and then either way you'll end up with the same result, which is going to be your revised, updated landing page flow. So we're going to X out of this. We're going to wait for Claude to do its thing. All right, so you can see Claude's even doing a live audit just to confirm for us. The cool part about working with Claude Code on this stuff too, guys, is especially if you're like a service provider agency and you're constantly doing A2P, you can set up a skill for A2P with Claude so that it learns from best practices. So maybe every once in a while, if you do get a rejection, you're like, hey, save this rejection discrepancy we had as a skill. So over time, you can develop like a really bulletproof A2P verification process with your Claude sessions. So you're getting your clients set up and verified first go around, which is going to do nothing but help your service delivery and client satisfaction as far as the turnaround time, in which case you can greenlight their SMS channels on GoHighLevel. All right, cool. So it's saying we're good to go. So we can double check now. I'll refresh here. Looks like it already published though. So pretty much I think the only real significant thing it did is get rid of the button just to make sure we're fully crystal clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to recheck all these and we're going to click review application once more, sit tight for a couple minutes, and hopefully it green lights us on this one, in which case we're good to click proceed, review info one last time, then finally submit that application. Oh, perfect. Okay, so pass 1 of 1, we're good to go. Now you're going to click proceed and just scroll through, confirm all your information, and then finally click submit, submit your application, and you're good to go. I'm already A2P verified in this account, so I'm not going to go through the submission process. Anyways, best of luck out there getting A2P verified. If you guys do have any questions over anything I went over on how to go through the process of building out these opt-in pages that are fully compliant so you can get verified first try, just leave a comment down below. I'll be replying to all the comments to help you out. And on that note, I'll see y'all in the next video.